in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
A new bill proposed could regulate artificial intelligence here in Texas. Good morning and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Avery Travis.
And I'm Erica Brennis. As KXAN's Sarah Alshay explains, the bill would establish an oversight of AI.
House Bill 1709, also known as the Texas Responsible Artificial Intelligence Governance Act, filed by a Republican state representative for the upcoming legislative session. The measure includes proposals like require companies to disclose their AI usage, strengthen safeguards to protect personal data used in AI systems, and establish guidelines to prevent bias, discrimination, and misuse of AI technologies.
If you just let AI run untethered, it does become biased because information that it scans is biased. And so that's why it's really important to understand how is it trained, what is it trained with.
Matt Rosen is the CEO and founder of Aleda, a technology consulting firm that helps automate companies through AI.
Organizations are coming to us because they're trying to figure out what should we do with it, how should we use it, how do we protect our data.
When it comes to regulating AI, Rosen says there is not much at the moment on the federal level.
So now it's being left to the states, but you have to think in the next few years there's going to be legislation at both levels, and then are they going to overlap? I think regulations should be maybe a little more lax than strict, given that we're still really, as a civilization, figuring out how this stuff actually works. It's this cautious balance that I think the Texas legislature is going to have to walk.
Along with regulations, Rosen wants to see an emphasis on education and training for AI as well, given that it continues to grow into our lives.
It's better to understand it, not be scared of it, but embrace it and know its positives and negatives.
Sarah Alshay, KXAN News.
For businesses in the testing phase of their AI operations, the bill would allow for temporary regulatory exemptions during that time frame.
On the national level, Texas Senator Ted Cruz is a part of a bipartisan effort to pass the Take It Down Act. That bill would criminalize the publication of non-consensual intimate imagery, including AI-generated or altered images, also known as deepfake pornography. The bill is awaiting a vote in the House.
First warning weather with meteorologist Tommy House.
Hey, good Friday morning. 46 right now at Camp Mabry. Calm winds, humidity at 96%. Clear skies. Overall, a drier air mass. That's thanks to the cold front that moved through yesterday. Still some 30s out toward Llano and Gillespie County. San Saba County clocking in at 41. Lampasas 47, much warmer. Marble Falls 39. How about downtown? 46, 45 at the airport. Down towards San Marcos, Kyle and Buda, low 40s, mid 40s up toward Williamson County. East of I-35, you get a few sprinkled in, low 50s there. A little bit more warmer down toward Fayette County, but big picture is we're all a little bit warmer than where we should be this time of year. Very dry, but we have a little bit of showers being picked up. That's pretty much going to fall apart because our 2 points are in the 20s and low 30s. Rain chances today will be dry, but scattered showers returning tomorrow morning. So we'll show you who gets the rain. Look at the totals there. Not a lot, but still nonetheless we need the rain. Update on your weekend forecast with those near record high temperatures. That will continue into parts of early next week, and a cool start to 2025. We'll have the latest trends in just a bit. Now, multiple tornadoes were spotted across the Houston area yesterday. At least 2 were captured on video. The first was seen northeast of Houston. The second tornado formed southeast of Houston. And this came dangerously close to some buildings. No reports of injuries, but there is damage after the storms knocked out trees and some of the landings on top of the homes.
All right, thanks, Tommy. We expect to get an update from Austin police about a wreck that killed 2 people on Wednesday night. A motorcyclist crashed into a pedestrian on Highway 290. And since accuracy is important to us here at KXAN, we do want to mention that this happened in East Austin. Yesterday, we said that it happened in Southwest Austin, and we regret that error.
The Hays County Fire Marshal's office tells KXAN a woman and a young child died in a fire on Christmas Eve morning. Investigators say the victims were found in an apartment inside a horse barn on Creekwood Drive. That's in Driftwood near Dripping Springs. The woman was around 29 years old. The child was 1 to 3 years old. Crews are still investigating the cause of the fire, and right now it's unknown if the apartment had working smoke detectors.
Law enforcement agencies across Central Texas are working to reshape how they respond to mental health calls. As part of this, more departments are creating dedicated mental health response teams. KXAN's Brianna Hollis takes us to Georgetown, where a unit launched this year.
As Georgetown grows, so is the number of 911 calls made in the city. According to the Texas Behavioral Health and Justice Center, 911 calls have more than tripled in Georgetown since 2019.
Our first goal was to help free up our really busy patrol officers.
That's how the idea to create a mental health unit in Georgetown started, with this team about 2 years ago.
Standard officers, they have a lot of responsibilities throughout the city, like crashes, disturbances, taking other reports. We're an actual dedicated team who respond to all the mental health crisis and unhoused individuals within the city.
The mental health unit came to fruition this year after getting approval from City Council in January. In Texas, peace officers are the only professionals who can involuntarily detain someone having a mental health crisis that's posing a risk to themselves or others. So simply having a medical professional on hand isn't enough.
So we have to be there at the most dangerous times. So I think that us having a dedicated team, we can start to create wraparound services for our patients so that we can avoid having to take people involuntarily and creating a trauma.
The unit can spend more time with each individual because they're not running out to the next 911 call like patrol officers would. And they really get to know the people they help.
We can actually tailor a better fitting component of care for our patients.
The 4-member team is a start, they say, but they've already noticed a need for more.
Our future goals would be to have more people, to have a bigger staff.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
Bree, thank you. The Georgetown team eventually hopes to develop a co-response system so paramedics and behavioral health professionals can respond to mental health calls with officers. Welcome back. Your time now, 4:39. A beautiful shot this morning from our KXAN weather cam looking over downtown. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't think I'm ever going to get over how beautiful it is in the morning. You guys get such a view if you're up this early with us. Let's get to some of your news. U.S. officials say Russia could be behind a passenger plane crash in Kazakhstan that left dozens of people dead on Wednesday. But investigators have not been able to confirm what happened just yet.
An Azerbaijani airliner headed to Russia went off course, then crashed, killing dozens of the 67 people that were on board. Azerbaijan says it's launched a criminal investigation to figure out what happened. U.S. officials say there's early signs a Russian anti-aircraft system may have struck the plane. This comes amid speculation that Russia was fending off Ukrainian drone attacks in the area as the plane was trying to land. Good morning and happy Friday. You're looking live in North Austin above our NT Domain Tower camera. We're watching the quiet here at this intersection. Not a bad start, pretty crisp and cool out there, but Tommy, I overheard him say it's going to be toasty today. Going to go right up to the 70s, some people in the 80s, so he'll have details on that. I'll let him handle the weather. Austin's first public junior high school to integrate in the late 1950s is now being torn down.
It's on the UT campus, and eventually it'll be home to a new athletics practice facility. Nabil Ramadna spoke with former students who say they're sad to see it go.
In August, one final reunion at University Junior High School.
When I heard it was going to be demolished, we said, hurry, let's come and have our picture taken.
Former students took pictures and shared memories about the school they once attended.
We were blue and gold. The mascot was eagles.
The school became the first junior high school in Austin to integrate in the 1950s. That's according to the National Register. And most recently, the building housed the Steve Hicks School of Social Work.
Now, the area here looks much different than it did the last time we were here. The area out in front covered in trees, but now that's all gone. And as you can see, demolition is underway.
It is a little sad. I think the building held so many memories.
Mary Ritalik stopped by in August.
I'm okay with moving forward. I'm so glad we visited and had the interview and had the good pictures.
Pictures that will last. But as for stopping by again,
it's gone now. So I kind of don't need to see that it's gone. You know, I needed to see it when it was alive and well, but I kind of don't need to see it now.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
A local grassroots group called Save the Past for the Future was formed last year to try to stop the demolition of that building and to try to preserve University Junior High School. In July, the UT Board of Regents chairman said keeping the building and using it as classrooms just doesn't make sense for the university. And he added that there are plans to make an exhibit with some historical artifacts from the building.
The Texas Historical Commission approved a state antiquities landmark status for that building in July. The designation means UT would have needed a permit to make any significant changes. But there's no protection against demolition. There are other sites in Austin with the same landmark status, including the Barton Springs Bathhouse, the Governor's Mansion, and the Capitol Building.
A new football facility, as we mentioned, will replace the Frank Dinius Fields and the Bubble as the Longhorns' primary practice facility. It will include an indoor and outdoor practice field, a 3-lane track, drill space for linemen, a hospitality area, and some parking as well.
Sounds like a lot to fit in that space. I mean,
right.
You don't realize how big of a footprint that is until you read, oh my gosh, there's a lot that's going to be going on.
And how much that the team really needs to expand. I mean, they're, I think the better they get, the more people are interested in coming to watch some of those practices.
Yeah.
They've got to spread out a little bit there.
Did you have any classes in that building?
I never did in that building. I remember walking past it. You kind of go everywhere when you're on campus, and the campus has changed so much. It's not the only thing that has changed since I was there.
What was once just a mere 40 acres is no longer. My mom got her master's in social work at UT, and so that was her, home base. And then we had our daughter in the UT Child Development Center school in preschool. We ended up at the one on the campus on Comal, but we toured that location, and it was down in the bottom floor. It was an old school, very like elementary. If you could imagine what it looked like on the basement floor, it looked like an elementary school.
Yeah. Those were my favorite buildings.
It needed some
TLC.
Yeah.
Some TLC. Those are my favorite buildings though at UT, those old ones. I used to study in the library in the tower, and I mean, it had all the history and the old rickety tables, and it felt like you were in
smells of yesteryear.
Exactly. I love that. It's good for the brain. Stimulates brain activity.
I have no idea what y'all talking about.
Sorry, it's just along for the ride today, Tommy.
But I'm learning.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, there is. Y'all excited for the weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh,
it's gonna be warm. But a nice warm.
Okay. It was chillier this morning when I walked out than I realized.
Yeah, it was the cooler nights because it's dry, but then drier air is easier to warm back up, so it gets back up into the 80s again for high temperatures today. Let me show you across the country what we're dealing with. The red represents warmer than normal, so look at that. 18 degrees warmer than where we should be in Austin, 13 degrees warmer in Dallas. This is today at 3 p.m. How about tomorrow? Still, most of the country dealing with unseasonable mild temperatures. 18 degrees warmer again tomorrow in Austin, and Sunday as well. Pretty much about 99% of the lower 48 dealing with this warm stretch here. So we're talking about it through the weekend. It's not just in Central Texas. It's for all of us across the country. Here's what's going on. Clouds and radar. Low pressure system to our north and east. That's yesterday's cold front that moved through high pressure to the east coast, and our next storm system up toward the Pacific Northwest. So there's the front. Kicked up some pretty good severe weather for eastern portions of Texas. Let me zoom on in and show you the storm reports. Multiple confirmed tornadoes. We saw a lot of them on social media. Here's several of the reports here. One in Dayton, which is in northeastern parts of the Houston metro. One in southwestern parts of the metro. Look at this. Multiple reports and videos of tornadoes on the ground. Social media video of a waterspout over Lake Houston that moved on to land. Another social media post in Dayton, Texas. So this was all well to the east of us. We didn't have any severe weather, thankfully, in central Texas. Right now, currently, clouds and radar, just a little line of showers that's weakening pretty substantially. A lot of dry air. Those dew points, they're in the 20s and 30s west of I-35, so not a lot of that is falling to the surface, but that may be different come tomorrow morning. Clouds and radar, a little bit of partly cloudy conditions moving through this morning. That should clear out with sunshine throughout the late morning into the afternoon hours. Clouds will build back in overnight tonight into the start of your Saturday. You're going to kick off your Saturday morning with maybe a spot shower, and then here comes a little bit of storm activity up toward San Saba and Lampasas. Notice the timing for this, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Pretty quickly, though, this will move through, so no need to cancel any sort of outdoor plans or even a lunch reservation, because notice by 9:30, most of us dealing with pretty much clear conditions throughout the remainder of Saturday into Sunday. That same model is given about a few hundredths of an inch in Austin, less than a tenth of an inch. Farther up north toward Lampasas and San Saba, that's where you could get close to a ½ inch. I'm staying on the low side, though, 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch north of Round Rock and Georgetown to San Saba, and then farther down south towards San Marcos. Really nothing, to be honest with you, less than 1/10 of an inch there. High temperatures today, 79 in Austin. Our record high is actually 79, set back in 2021, so I think we'll at least tie it, if not pass it. Saturday, 80 degrees, Sunday, 76. Near record high temperatures will continue through the first half of next week. 79 today. Winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Increase in clouds, so we'll stay on the mild side. 60 degrees tonight. In your first warning weather 7-day forecast, 20% chance of rain tomorrow morning. But besides that, warm and dry to close out the year.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Billionaire Elon Musk and businessman Vivek Ramaswamy are now tapped to lead the Department of Government Efficiency. It's aimed at cutting federal spending when President-elect Trump takes office. The national debt is over $36 trillion, and Congress controls less than 1/3 of government spending. In 2023, the Congressional Budget Office says that the government spent $6 trillion, but brought in $4.4 trillion. $3.8 trillion is mandatory spending for things like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Democrats have accused Republicans of trying to cut those programs.
Neither political party can unilaterally change Medicare or Social Security. So I think for practical purposes, those are off the table.
Republicans say they can find other things to cut in federal spending.
Well, back here at home, as we get closer to celebrating the new year, the Austin Police Department is warning of the dangers of celebratory gunfire at midnight. It's shared on social media. It is illegal, and doing so could also hurt somebody. A little context here: bullets can return to the ground at speeds greater than 200 feet per second, enough to go through the human skull and cause serious injury or even death. The penalty for those caught firing into the sky is a fine of up to $2,000 and possible jail time. Fireworks and gunfire can also be traumatic for people recovering from PTSD. And of course, we know if you've got a dog at home, it can be really scary for them too. Their hearing is about 4 times more sensitive than humans.
A pet food company recalled a batch of one of its products after the Oregon Department of Agriculture blamed the product on the death of a house cat. The raw food possibly contaminated with bird flu. The case is prompting Northwest Naturals to recall a batch of its feline turkey recipe product, telling consumers across 12 states to toss any 2-pound frozen bags with sell-by dates in May or June of next year, or 2026 rather. Experts say this strain of avian flu can be deadly to mammals, and cats are especially vulnerable.
The most common thing is if you have an indoor cat, is keep them indoors. You have eliminated the majority of the sources there. Also, you do not want the raw foods that we hear out there.
Health authorities in Los Angeles are still investigating the death of 2 cats linked to bird flu and raw milk as well.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Longhorns with a couple of more workouts in Austin, then it's off to Atlanta on Sunday as they get set for Wednesday's matchup against Arizona State. It's a Texas team that went to #1 in the rankings, lost to Georgia, then bounced back, and they ran the table in the regular season before losing in the SEC title game. But of course, the resume certainly good enough to get to the field of 12. Now they are part of the field of 8, the quarterfinals, trying to get to where they were last year. Of course, that was the last 4-team college football playoff and a win over ASU, and they are back in the national semifinals.
It's been a long season, and having gone to the college football playoff a year ago and literally being inches away from playing for a national championship and knowing what the goals were coming into this season, and to be back in the college football playoff when 4 of us were in the CFP a year ago, but we were the only team that made it back into the college football playoff in an expanded version of 12 teams. There's a lot to be proud of, but mostly I'm proud of our veterans, our leaders, our seniors, because those guys went through 5 and 7 in year 1. They went through 8 and 5 in year 2, and they didn't jump ship. They hung in there with us. They believed in what we were doing. Going into last year and not finishing it the way we would have liked, and then to get back again this year, I just think, like I said, it's a credit to the leadership on our team.
On the tape and the way they've recruited, the way they've coached this football team. This is a team that, preseason could win a national championship. Last year could have won a national championship. This year can win a national championship. And all you want to do is the opportunity to compete versus the best. We're 14-point underdogs, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. We're playing a really, really good football team. But at the same token, I'm excited to see our guys go compete as hard as they can compete for as long as they can compete, play smart and tough football, take care of the ball, and be about the team for 60 minutes and see what happens.
Kenny Dillingham playing the underdog coach role to perfection leading up to this one. Don't forget Texas Game Day leading up to kickoff. That's Wednesday at 11 over on KBVO. 5 bowl games today. Texas Tech and Arkansas this evening. They're playing in Memphis. And late night tonight, it's Texas A&M and USC in Las Vegas. That's a 9:30 Central Time kick. Back to you.
Roger, thank you. You guys know what I'll be doing on New Year's Day. Watching that game day show. Okay, coming up, while you'll likely pay more on your property taxes in Travis County. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us. We hope you will join us over on the air for that. Or you can always find these stories on our website, KXAN.com.